This is Terry with your total solar eclipse in Aries, coming in hot on April 8th this year. How are you doing? As we're in the eclipse portal now, we're soaking in it. And I'm recording this just on that Libra full moon lunar eclipse. And I got my moon fork. I'll play it close to my microphone. Maybe you can hear this. Whew, that lunar eclipse was really intense. Did you feel it? I just felt like I wanted to go into complete hermit crab mode and get deep into my shell, into the inner spirals of the shell. And I just really needed alone time. And I was so energetically sensitive that I just kind of went within and introverted out. I wonder what you did with the Libra lunar eclipse. I know it was happening at midnight for us in the Pacific Northwest, and so I didn't go watch it, and I won't be able to see this total solar eclipse in Aries because I'm not in that path of totality this time. I was last time. But this is a new super moon in Aries with the sun coming together. Every new moon, the sun and the moon come together. And this year, this eclipse, the moon, new moon, is a super moon. So it's even more intense, this eclipse energy. And this eclipse is really a culmination of over 6 years of major healing crisis on our world that was brought in by Chiron in Aries. Chiron, the wounded warrior healer. Chiron entered Aries, where Chiron is exalted, Chiron is right at home. Chiron entered his cave of power in 2019, just as we had that whole pandemic and really bringing health and the health crisis into focus. And this total solar eclipse will be conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so many of us born between 1969 through 1976, we have Chiron in Aries. So this has been a time of our Chiron return, where Chiron sheds light on our deepest wounds, the things that we stuffed down, the things that we buried, the things that we thought, I'll process that later, right? So many of us, when we go through traumatic events, we just stuff it down. And Chiron in Aries, that wounded warrior healer, is bringing it all up to surface to be healed now. And your deepest wounds may be triggered by this total solar eclipse especially. And they're all just coming to the surface to be healed now. And we even have Chiron return for the United States astrology chart. Maybe I'll put the United States astrology chart here in this video so you can see that America's birth chart, 1776, we have Chiron in Aries as a nation. And so this is a time of deep healing for America as a whole, and boy does our country need some really deep healing at this total solar eclipse, don't you think? And I did a whole 2 separate videos on Chiron in Aries, since I have Chiron in Aries myself, and I went through that Chiron in Aries return. I did a video about Chiron in Aries return. I filmed it in a cave. It's really crazy. I did that like 5 years ago, and then I did another video. I will drop those down in the description because I don't want to go into so much about Chiron in Aries, but I will say look at your chart and see where Chiron shows up for you, and if you will be impacted by this Chiron in Aries transit conjunction. It's literally conjuncting the sun and moon exact right at this eclipse time. So Chiron Chiron's coming in really strong, saying this country needs to heal. And if you look at this total solar eclipse, the path of totality, I will put that path of totality map up again, because it is going to be crossing right over the United States, beginning in the Pacific Ocean, crossing over Mexico, right where Mexico enters Texas. And that's interesting, because how will this eclipse affect the migrant situation, which also really needs that Chiron and Aries healing the wounds of that migrant situation. And then that path of totality continues up from Texas, where it'll be crossing Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Buffalo, New York, really going all the way across America. And this is a longer total solar eclipse than we've had ever. This is our biggest total solar eclipse in our lifetime, because we won't see one that lasts 4 minutes again for a really long time. So let me know if you are in that path of totality, if you will be watching this total solar eclipse. I'm so tempted to get into the path of totality on April 8th, but I probably am not going to get to see this one. And I would love to know if you will be watching where you live, if you'll be able to see it. And this eclipse is just a wild card of change that is birthing something brand new into being now. And we can't even comprehend what it is yet. It's out of our normal realm of existence. It's so new. And the Sabian symbols have been talking about this for a while. And it's just like when a baby is being born. Because of course this eclipse is happening in Aries, that first sign of the zodiac in the 12-house zodiac wheel. Aries is a baby. And so this new energy, there's no way of knowing. Just like when a baby is born, you have no idea who this baby will become and what their life is going to be. And it's just an evolution as you unpack every stage of development. And that is where we are as a nation in America with this Chiron return. It's like in Aries, we are healing, we're having a healing crisis that is going to birth a new way forward, that we just don't know what is coming at all with this. And so with this brand new growth cycle, all you can really do is just be present in the moment and just be fascinated, like, oh, that's new, okay, what is that about? And just ride those tides of change that are going to be coming at us all year. It's not as if a total solar eclipse is just affecting us for that one day. I mean, this is going to create a trajectory of transformation that is going to go on for at least 6 months, and then we will have 2 more eclipses coming this fall. So this is a time to know your astrology chart and see where that Aries LIBRA Axis shows up. And for the Libra lunar eclipse, it's interesting, my Libra is in my 3rd house of neighbors and siblings, and immediately I had 2 neighbors on either side of me have these big life changes where they just sold their house and moved out of state, like immediately, the 2 weeks during the lunar eclipse. And then I was in a lot of conversation with my sister-in-law, that would be as close as I have to a sibling, about her being a Libra, and she was impacted by this Libra eclipse. So you can't make this stuff up. You look at your chart, you see what house your Aries and Libra are in, and you will see that is where something new is coming into your life. And it's just like a seed getting ready to sprout out, to just burst out. It's like that sprout trying to burst out of the seed to grow something new, and it's so unknown, and it's this natural process that we simply cannot control. We just have to allow for the seed to sprout and grow into whatever it's going to become within your Libra Aries axis. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you don't know how to find your Libra Aries axis, I am doing an eclipse astrology sale right now for $88. You get 4 charts. You get a chart for the Libra lunar eclipse that is happening today as I'm recording this. And you get a chart for this total solar eclipse in Aries, the really big guns. This is the biggest eclipse of the year. And you also get the 2 fall eclipses that are coming later this year. I will include all 4 charts, your chart, and related to those 4 days, so that you can see where the changes in your own personal life, where the seed is bursting into a sprout for you. Look at the astrology chart for this eclipse. You will see that all the planets seem to be lining up where the action is, where Chiron, Sun, and Moon come together. We have Mars in Pisces, close conjunction to Saturn in Pisces. I'm going to talk about that conjunction in a moment. Neptune in Pisces, Venus just entering Aries, really close to the action. We've got North Node in Aries, of course, and the Moon, Sun, Chiron, Mercury, all line up in the astrology chart with Jupiter and Uranus close by, and they are getting ready to conjunct, which is a really big deal I'm going to talk about in a moment. But something big is coming. And Pluto is like the only planet not involved, not close by. But Pluto is sort of opposing this energy in Aquarius. So, wow, this is a lot to unpack today. And something is about to be revealed. And it's as if all the planets are coming close to see what is going to happen, what will be revealed that is going to bring a collective deep healing on our planet, a deep healing for America, and each and every one of us is going to have some kind of deep healing for ourselves under this eclipse. Perhaps it will be, personal is political. You heal yourself to heal the world, right? And whatever is going on personally can also be affected by political changes. But we personally, when we evolve and change and heal ourselves, the outer world gets better too. So the two go together. And Chiron in Aries is asking everyone to do their healing work in this healing crisis time. And whatever is going to be revealed for you, it can vary deeply, just depending on how your own personal chart is, where that Chiron in Aries is transiting. And some of us may have very disruptive changes. There could be loss, there could be something traumatic that happens on this total solar eclipse. And others may be really lucky. They might have this beautiful breakthrough, expansion, something really good happens, and it just depends. It's gonna be a different event for everywhere, but either way, whether you're losing something or something new is beginning and it's exciting, like a new romance or a new love, whatever changes are happening, I just encourage you to go slow. Act slow. Don't rush into anything during this eclipse. Especially we have Mercury entering retrograde on April Fool's Day, and you don't want to sign a big contract around this eclipse. You don't want to make any lifelong decisions. You just want to take it step by step, like that sprout bursting out of the seed and just slowly growing forth, just slowly pushing forth into the soil to come up, to grow, and just let the natural growth cycle take over. You don't have to control it. You don't have to do any big actions about the change. The change is gonna come. Change is gonna come, and there's nothing you need to do or have to do, and there's really nothing you can do. The change is inevitable when this something is revealed on this total solar eclipse in Aries. And if you're an Aries or a Libra North Node, you will be feeling this the most of all. This is your soul's big moment. This is the time to do the thing that you were brought here to do. It's your soul's mission. And when I had my North Node Aquarius eclipse, it felt like being enlisted in a spiritual soul's army, where it was like, all of a sudden it was like, you need to move, you need to sell your house, you need to go there, and you're gonna meet these people, and you're gonna do this thing, and so much of it felt out of my control. That's why I'm saying the change is gonna come, and you may not be able to control it. You just have to tap in, listen to spirit, asking questions. Where should I go? What should I do? Paying attention to the subtle signs and symbols that are being revealed, that are pointing you in directions where you need to go here and do this thing, or maybe you get a new job, or maybe you start a new relationship. Something new is coming. Something new is being revealed that is going to take you on this journey. If you can just be open and accepting of your soul's calling. At this time, I'm especially talking to North Node Aries and North Node Libra. This is really the time to go with the flow. Don't try to paddle upstream. Just let the river take you now. And I like to say, you simply have to surrender to the process, or you will be dragged in a North Node return eclipse like this. You want to look to your chart, to the house of Aries and Libra in your chart, so you can make sense of what is going on around you. And if you're lucky, you're not directly affected. I don't really have any planets happening this time, so I feel lucky to not be affected as intensely. So then you can just be an observer of this eclipse situation and be the support, be the helper, be the kind friend and counsel to those you know who are going through it, because some of us will be really affected and others of us will just be the support system to the ones going through the major upheaval of this eclipse. And Mars, I've got my Mars tuning fork here. Mars is the natural ruler of Aries. Mars is the warrior. But Mars right now is softened because Mars is in Pisces. And that's water on fire. It's like if you're dousing the Mars fiery energy with a bucket of water. So maybe this will be good for the war when Mars is debilitated and Mars isn't so fiery and furious, and Mars becomes more of a spiritual warrior when Mars enters Pisces. So this could bring a little bit of peace and maybe just a time of respite during this eclipse, having Mars debilitated and softened in Pisces. We have Mars and Saturn conjunct just before this eclipse. I'm sorry, just after this eclipse. It's happening on April 10th. And when Mars comes in giving you all this energy and ambition, though slightly softened in Pisces, you want to fulfill your goals and attain your deepest desire with Mars. But then Saturn comes in and says it's going to take control, it's going to take self-discipline, it's going to take rules, regulations to get your license or whatever it is. And so when Mars and Saturn come together, it's like controlled ambition, controlled fiery energy. Perhaps this will be more control over the war situations And it's still a very volatile energy. I talked about Mars and Saturn coming together in my Libra lunar eclipse too. When Mars and Saturn meet up in Pisces, you would think this would work out well, but it can be so unpredictable in Pisces, where emotions may get the better of us, and there can be angry outbursts or destructive Martian energy, losing control of your aggressive tendencies. And so but Pisces is also that really old soul wisdom, and Saturn in Pisces might know better than to start a fight they cannot win. Don't start fights you can't win. And Pisces is that calming energy, that more spiritual energy for Mars, and it makes Saturn more of a spiritual teacher as well. And I'm wondering what effect this could have on the war situation. And I always think of Reiki Goes to Hollywood. I saw Reiki Goes to Hollywood in the 80s, and I had a t-shirt that said, "War, what is it good for?" And then on the back it said, "Absolutely nothing," right? Absolutely nothing. War is good for absolutely nothing. And how did we find ourselves in this situation? And how is the world gonna pull out of it? I think having this Mars-Saturn conjunction in Pisces, that 12th house is about endings. Could this be an end to some of the conflicts? We can only pray and hope that maybe this is going to come to an end. And then after this total solar eclipse in Aries, we have a really big deal. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus. Mark your calendars, because this is coming April 20th. Jupiter, the great expander, Jupiter, the king who grants wishes, especially if you are a Taurus, and Jupiter giving us faith, meets up with Uranus, the planet of big surprises and breakthroughs in Taurus, ruling the Earth sign. This could be geomagnetic activity, like all the solar storms we've been seeing. It could be earthquakes, volcanoes, severe weather patterns like we've been already seeing. We may have floods and mudslides, all those earth problems, and it is a wake-up call for the Earth when Jupiter and Uranus come together in Taurus. It is very dynamic energy. It's stop everything and pay attention now. And we may just see something really profound happen on that day, although this transit is going to be affecting us all year, especially if you are a Taurus. And Taurus rules the second house of wealth too. So this crazy energy of Jupiter and Uranus coming together, it's so unpredictable. Uranus, so unpredictable. Jupiter, expansion, it's expanded unpredictability in Taurus that rules the second house of our money, wealth, financial matters. We could have a financial crisis, or we could have a financial windfall. I guess it depends how positive you believe. And so let's hope for windfalls and not recessions in this. We just don't know. It's such a rare conjunction that the last time we had Jupiter and Uranus in a conjunction was in 1941. And this just happened to be the time when we had the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor, and the United States declared war on Japan, and then Germany and Italy declared war on the US a few days later, and this became all these nations engaged in the Second World War. So I hope that that doesn't mean with Jupiter and Uranus coming together again that we are heading into a massive world war. I hope that's not true, but it is what happened last time in 1941, the last time these two planets came together. In astrology, we say that this total solar eclipse is happening in Aries, and we have a Sabian symbol for Aries coming up based on the tropical astrology chart. However, if you look astronomically at where this eclipse is really happening in the night sky, it's happening in Pisces. And this is because of that procession of stars we have that I've been talking about in so many of these readings. I know it's a little confusing, but if you look to where that eclipse actually shows up, it's in the constellation of Pisces, right in that karmic knot between the two fishes. Pisces, that sign of two fishes representing duality between reality and fantasy. What is real and what are we imagining right now? And the one fish is swimming upstream, going against the flow, and the other fish is just letting the river take it downstream in a life that is so effortless. And the two fishes almost remind me of the 3D reality of, like, you have to work so hard just to make enough money to pay all your bills and there's nothing left. All that really limiting beliefs of the third dimensional reality. Whereas the other fish that's just letting the river take it and allowing good things to come is more of that fifth dimensional fish that we are moving into. This era of a higher vibrational energy, that things are going to get easier if we can be the fish that just allows the river to flow downstream and just take it. And Pisces has all this incredible old soul wisdom, and yet the fish can also self-sabotage like no other sign self-sabotages like a Pisces. If you know a Pisces, you've probably seen this kind of self-sabotage. And Pisces is ruled by Neptune, although Pisces used to be ruled by Saturn, so it's real interesting with Saturn and Pisces now. But right now, Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. Pisces is in the ocean. Neptune rules over oceans, and so with Neptune in Pisces right now, there can be this confusion happening on this eclipse, as the eclipse is going to go right over. The eclipse is also in close conjunction really to Neptune. It's going to be crossing over that Neptune in Pisces, and we may wonder what is real and what is not, and what's really happening, and is this video not even true, and is everything that we're seeing actually AI right now? And we're already not sure what is real anymore. Under this eclipse, it's only going to get more intense about what is real and what is just being fed to us, fake lies and things like that. So Pisces, the fish, is one of the ancient constellations in the Greek story. I'm going to put the constellation here so you can see. And in the Greek story, there was a massive sea monster, Typhon, wicked sea monster, who was sent to destroy the gods. After being alerted to this sea monster's presence, Aphrodite and Eros, the two love goddesses, swam into the Euphrates River, where they transform themselves into fishes. And I think of Saturn transforming into the sea goat with that mermaid tail, as Saturn is transiting Pisces right now. And then Aphrodite and Eros fought off the sea monster as fishes. And this eclipse is also happening under the square constellation of Pegasus, which is really close by in the night sky to Pisces. So Pegasus is coming in close, and that triangulum constellation. This is a very mystical, magical, otherworldly part of the night sky that rules over ancient wisdom, old souls, ancestors, and aliens alike. It's so unbelievable, otherworldly, Alice in Wonderland imagination. This is the gateway of Pisces going into Aries. We're in this mystical dream world. It's almost like you're in a dream, and then from the dream you awaken. Aries. Pisces is the dream, Aries is the awakening. So we're right at the cusp of a major collective consciousness awakening. But first there is confusion, delusion, not knowing what is real and what is not. It's very psychedelic feeling as we cross over. This total solar eclipse crosses over this Pisces, really mystical, magical region of old souls, ancestors, aliens, otherworldly Pegasus. I'm going to talk about Pegasus here in a minute. And we go through this portal right before we are born, and we are awakened into the brand new day. Just like you dream, and then you wake up, and it's morning, and you see everything clearer, right? So, this happening in Pegasus, this constellation represents major world changes, dynamic world changes, the likes we've never seen. And then Pegasus rules over the oceans, and our oceans may just heat up with that fiery Mars. When you throw fire into water, the water is gonna heat up. And this symbolizes a combination of fire and water. We may even see explosions at sea, or something very volatile that happens on the waters. And it could be there's underground volcanoes erupting near Hawaii, I believe. We could see a major volcano underwater. There is a destruction, ocean, fiery battle scene happening here. And this is one summer I will not be taking a cruise this summer, because the waterways are volatile under this Mars and Pisces combined with this Pegasus. Something is happening, all happening in Pisces, which rules over the oceans, rivers, and streams. So stay away from the ocean on this eclipse. Could we even have some tsunami energy happening here? And Pegasus constellation is shown as a horse that can fly above like a bird. This horse rises above, representing that we can rise above any of the chaos that may come from this total solar eclipse. And Pegasus was born from the blood of the Gorgon, Medusa. If you know that story where Perseus decapitates Medusa, and Pegasus is born out of Medusa's neck. Pegasus sort of emerges, just like that sprout cracking out of the seed. Pegasus emerges out of Medusa's neck, and Pegasus grows wings as a horse and flies away. I mean, talk about overcoming a traumatic childhood. Pegasus knows how to fly away from trauma, knows how to rise above the situation. Pegasus is a healer in his own right, just as powerful horse taking flight, rising above, coming from traumatic situations. Pegasus emerges with wings and a power of flight. And Pegasus was considered this divine healing creature that is associated with poetry and divine channeled wisdom, which we may be able to tap into, and the springs of Hippocrene and Pyrenees. And Pegasus is also known as the thundering horse of Jove, which is that ancient god of Rome that is represented as Jupiter. So Pegasus has this incredible Jupiter energy too. It's almost like Pegasus is bringing in more Jupiter energy just as Jupiter is about to conjunct Uranus 2 days after this total solar eclipse. And Pegasus carried this divine lightning. Pegasus could create lightning, which is funny because that lightning is ruled by Uranus. And Pegasus would shine this lightning down on humans when they needed enlightenment. I think we're gonna need, when we awaken from this new day, we're going to need some lightning to shake us up and enlighten us and bring us to that higher energetic vibration. And Pegasus has really come to represent this free spirit, this rise above energy, and Pegasus likes to go take flight on these fearless adventures. And that's very Aries. I know every Aries I know loves a fearless adventure. Aries are always getting hurt because they go on fearless adventures. But Pegasus is going to bring intuition, insights, imagination as we take flight, perhaps without even leaving the ground. And the Sabian symbols are really aligning with this flight, because in the last Sabian symbol for the Libra lunar eclipse, remember we had children trying to levitate to get off the earth. And now with this total solar eclipse, we will have a magic carpet ride coming up in the Sabian symbol. I'm going to read in just a moment. So the magic carpet ride is very much like Pegasus taking flight. And there is so much expansion, ascension, rise above your situation, taking quantum leaps. Uranus and Jupiter conjunct is a quantum leap, expansion, ascension, rise above, get to that higher vibrational level. And I have been listening to so many frequency music. We do these sound healings. I'll drop some sound healings below, but I've been really feeling this eclipse energy in my heart. Like my heart just wants to open to a greater, higher level. And I think that is where we will be experiencing this, in the heart chakra. And just using this frequency music. We did one that was for love, and I've been listening to that while I'm doing massage and while I'm doing Reiki sessions, and my clients are saying that they really feel their heart opening. And of course I'm using my Venus fork. Everybody who's been coming in for healing sessions has been getting the Venus fork while listening to the love vibrations to just open our hearts to whatever is coming. If you have an open heart about it, it really helps. And this music raises your energetic vibration. So I'll link those down below. It's a good time to listen to this high frequency, or just get out in nature, do some earthing. Nature can really support and nourish us as we awaken into this new energy. And we also have we've also had all those solar storms lighting us up. In some ways, the solar storms are bringing ascension symptoms. The solar storms are bringing us to this higher vibrational energy. And this is a time when you can really download some higher vibrational energy frequencies that are just coming in the ethers. If you give yourself time and space to really feel into the energy that is coming onto our planet right now, we have some higher vibrational energy coming from those geomagnetic storms. We've been having so many X1 solar storms coinciding right at the time of this lunar eclipse. We had some of the biggest X1 solar storms that we've ever experienced on our planet. So there's so much coming in to say it's time to shift the energy. We're all ready for a huge shift into this new world forward. And we also have the Triangulum constellation coming in. That brings that Trinity energy, the power of 3 pyramids. And this constellation relates to the Demeter goddess. If you know the story of Persephone and her mother Demeter. Demeter is Persephone's mother goddess, who promises to bring a bountiful spring full of flowers and fruit, but only if Persephone returns from the underworld. So it's interesting that this eclipse will also cross right over Demeter, as here we are in spring. I think of Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, when sometimes spring doesn't come and it's just freezing cold where I live, and I'm like, I hope spring is coming. But Demeter, the goddess, mother of Persephone, is coming in here too. And this eclipse holds our harvest in the balance. And this triangular constellation also contains that pinwheel galaxy that's just spiraling and spiraling, and that can make you a little bit dizzy. And if you just add the Pegasus and the spiral together, it's like there's really a loopy kind of energy. You might feel just a little out of body or a little like you're taking flight. This would be a great total solar eclipse for doing some astral projection. If you do astral projection, the energy supports astral projection, but we might be leaving our bodies even if we didn't mean to. Because now I'm going to read the Sabian symbol for Aries, 19 degrees, where this eclipse is astrologically showing up. And it is a magic carpet of Oriental imagery. And the keynote is the use of your creative imagination and a way of life refusing hectic involvement in social competition and waste-producing overproduction allows for the development of unattached and transcendental understanding. This static floor carpet on which man's feet rest can become transformed to take flight of the imagination and bringing a super physical kind of perception. The period of rest from outwardly directed activity bound to collective normality presents the creative mind with the possibility of surveying in dreams, that dream state, the totality of the present social situation. We will all be collectively dreaming in this new way forward that is going to change everything. And this is a strife transcending and an unattached outlook upon everyday reality that comes from this magic carpet ride. And it's so interesting that the last lunar eclipse we had levitation, and now we're getting on a magic carpet ride and we are taking flight just like Pegasus. We're gonna rise above and we're gonna collectively dream in this new reality forward. I am so excited about that. Thank you so much for watching my eclipse astrology, and I will see you next time.